If you are new to JavaScript, you probably would have had a need to join two strings together. So if you've ever had an issue with that, this is the place to be. Before we go on, I would like to say that there are different ways to declare a string in JavaScript, and I'm going to show you the 3 ways to declare a string. So the first way is, let's say we have a variable, let's say just say const sample, for instance. We can actually declare a string by using the single quotes, the double quotes, and the backtick character. So these are the 3 different characters that we can use to declare a string, and anything we write in between any of this character is actually referred to as a string, whether this or this, they are all referred to as a string. So now that we've actually stated that, I would like to go further to talk about how we can join 2 strings together. So assuming we are having 2 strings like this, like the sample1 and we have sample2, and we want to join them together, how do we go about this? So to explain this, I have actually created an HTML file over here, and in this place I have an h1 tag with an ID of greet, and I have a commented code over here, which I'm going to explain very soon. And by the way, I have another commented code at the bottom of my screen here. So over here, I have a simple code, which is actually saying get elements by ID greet. So this is the elements by ID, and I am saying it should write in the inner HTML of that, in the inner text of that particular element, it should write this string over here. So this string actually say, hello, how are you doing today? I think I should have a question mark there. So if I should save this, good. You see the question mark over here. So this doesn't really say much. It doesn't really talk about how we can actually join 2 strings together. So how about if I should split this 2 string into different string over here? So here we have 2 different string now. So I'm going to separate this so you can see. You agree with me that this is a string, this is one string, and this is another string over here. But if I should save this now, you can see we have just hello. And this string is not really assigned to anything. So I'm just going to take this out here, and I'm going to give this a variable name. I'll call this question. I'm going to call this question. So I'm just assigning this particular string into this variable. And if I should save that, you can see that there's still no difference. But if I should come over here and I say plus this, and I should save this now, you can see we have how are you doing today? But this time around, we don't really have a space between. And that is because this space here and this space here is actually not counted. The only space that that is going to reflect on the HTML is the space within the string itself. So if I should add a space here and I save this, you can see that we have a space here. But if I don't want to go this route, I think I actually copied this over here. So I can also replace this with a variable of question, and that still works the same way as well. But now let me give you an instance whereby you might want to use the double quotes over the single quotes. In this case, I'm going to say we are actually putting out a character over here, and I want to say this is Sam's. Now, Sam's has an apostrophe S. Remember, right? So I'm going to ignore that for now. I'm just going to say Sam book. And in this case, now I want to add an apostrophe S, and I'd say this apostrophe S. Now, what is actually going on here is that this apostrophe over here is actually closing the first quotation mark of our string here, and by so doing, it is causing an error in our code. If I should save this, you could see that nothing is being executed because we have an error in our code. So this is the case whereby you might want to use the double quotation. So if I should use the double quotation over here, the double quotes here, and I close this with the double quotes. Now you can see it from this perspective that the double quote is actually greater than the single quote. So in that case, that this is going to be a valid string. And if I should save this, we can see that this is Sam's book over here. But of course, this has nothing to do with string concatenation. Let's go further to talk more about string concatenation. If I want to add another stuff into this, I can come here and I could still say this is a sample string over here. And if I should save that, I can see that I have this is a sample string over here. But let's say I don't want to use all this plus, 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 plus. I just want to write everything in one line, and I want my variable to be within my string. That is where the backtick character comes into play, because the backtick character allows us to have a variable within the string itself. In this case now, if I want to add this particular question variable between these two strings over here, I just need to take this variable here and I'm going to put it outside the string. Like you can see, this plus is actually outside the string now. So I'm going to say question and I'm going to plus this again. So you can see we have this kind of plus, plus, plus all over the place. And I can actually, when I save this now, you can see this is Sam's book and we have how are you doing today. So this is another string and you can see that there is no spacing between this and this because there is actually no spacing here. So these are all the troubles that we go through when we try to concatenate string in this way. When we use the backtick character, this is way more easier. Now to do that, we're going to say, I'm going to take away all this now, and this is actually going to be very clear. The backtick, and I can say, hello Sam. And now I just want to add how are you doing today, but instead of me to be using the plus and be checking where I've placed the space and where I haven't really added the space in, I can just go ahead and just leave my space within the string. Then I could say my $sign and then my color brace brackets. So I can just use this now and I can just put in the question variable there. So when I put in the question variable, I can just go this way, question. And when I save this over here, I can see hello Sam, and you can see we have the space because we also have the space in here as well. And we have the how are you doing today. And I can just add this variable in any position. I can also come here and add another variable. I could say this, because I don't have much variable now, I'm still going to use the same variable of question. I can say how are you doing today? Hello Sam, how are you doing today? I can decide to add a comma over here and save this, and we have that over there. So you can see that this is much more a cleaner way to bring different variables into a string, to bring two strings together within a string. And this is all about string concatenation. We can do string concatenation by assigning a variable within a string using the backtick character, and we can also do string concatenation by using the plus sign in JavaScript. So let's get more practical with this. Let's create something that we can dynamically insert our name into a box, and it's just going to concatenate our name with an already existing string. So let's get more practical with this. I'll go to my HTML and I'm going to uncomment this code, and over here we can see that we have the print to screen function over here, and each time we type something on our keyboard, this particular function will be executed. We also have this particular input having an ID of input over here. If we move over to our JavaScript, this commented code, I'm going to bring it up now. Okay, so I'm going to uncomment this code, and just what we have over here is the print to screen here, and we have const name, which is getting the element by ID. Remember that the elements we're getting is this input element over here, and we're getting the value out of it. So get element by ID dot value is going to get the value of whatsoever we have typed in there. So if I should save this, this is not really doing anything at the moment, but it's going to do something very soon. So what we're going to do here is that we are going to say, I'm going to remove this one over here. I will remove this over here. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to say greet.inner text should be equal to, I want that to be equal to hi, then the name of the person, but I forgot to put this within a string, so I'm going to be using the backtick for this, and I would say hi, and I want this to be the name of the person, so I'm going to say the $sign and then the color braces. So in this case now, the name of the person is going to be name, because that is actually what this variable is. This variable is getting the name from this box, and it's going to insert it into the string over here. It's going to concatenate the name with the rest of the string. So first I would save this now. Now when I save it, you can see that there's nothing on the screen. But if I should type in here, remember that this method say that on input means that when I just type, if I should type in here and I come over here, it's this particular function will be executed. And what this is going to do is that it's going to write in the inner text of our h1 element which is here, means it's going to write somewhere around here. If I should save this now, you can see that there's something over there. Sorry about this. So if I should save this now, you can see that there's something over there because I've written inside of this element. But that's just what we're going to do with JavaScript now. So we're going to write inside of that particular element. So let's save this. So if I should type in Augustine, which is Augustine, you can see over here that we have hi Augustine, and I can add more things over here. I can add a comma, and I could say, how are you doing today? And if I should save that now, you can say that we don't have anything showing up. But the moment I type, I can say Augustine. So you can say, hi, Augustine, how are you doing today? And I can change this name to Sam, and it goes, hi, Sam, how are you doing today? You can actually create a dynamic. This could actually be very useful if you're just building a website. Like, you want to build a website whereby you're going to greet your users the moment they just log into the application. So the user name might be coming as a variable from the database. So you just append it into this particular string using the JavaScript string concatenation, and using the backtick, you can just do this and display a custom username for the person on the website. So this is really going to come in useful in your day-to-day activity while writing JavaScript code. So if you consider this video useful, remember to give this a thumbs up, and if you're yet to subscribe, please click the subscribe button down below. Bye for now.